as patriotic as can be. So, thank you. God bless America. Am I right, ladies? Who's with me? You are. It's great. Thanks for coming out. This is great. It wasn't the best day weather-wise, but like fall is usually my favorite time of year because it's like not too hot, it's not too cold, it still gets warm, the sun shines, leaves change. You know, it's like the perfect weather for cocaine. You know what I'm saying? I usually do that joke to find where the cocaine is, and I think it's at that table. Great. No, speaking of cocaine though, I did take a pregnancy test this morning. No, it's great. Like I already knew I wasn't going to be pregnant. I just like to start every morning with great news. Smooth sailing after that. Like try it tomorrow, like guys, girls, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just like you will have a great day knowing there's not a baby inside you to ruin your life. That's what my mom said. Oh me, I'm alive. I'm ruining her life now, so it's like I win. Always, you know. So this is great. While we're talking about abortions, though, I was in Tennessee not too long ago. Someone's already ahead of me. No, it's great. Like when I was there, they like just passed like a terrible. This is a while ago, actually. They just passed a terrible abortion bill. It was like the state. They gave the state like unlimited power to like ban abortions. This is like a terrible thing for people to do. But then I also found out at the same time they legalized the sale of wine in grocery stores, so it's going to even out in the end for them. Yeah, have you ever been to Tennessee? Yeah, it's terrible. They need more alcohol. So, this is good. This is a good time. Guys, since we're in Cambridge, I'm assuming you're all pretentious and you work. Yep, see people shaking their heads like I have a 40-hour-week job. I'm an American. So, let me ask you this. How many of you had an in-depth conversation with your two male bosses about scrotum this week? How many? Anybody? So, okay, I'm not the only one, because that definitely happened to me this week. No, it's true. I work at a personal injury law firm, so I'm like a total scumbag. I am just constantly praying for my friends to just trip and fall. I'll push them if I have to. As long as it's like in the right place, like in front of a bank, you know, to make sure there's money involved. Guys, if you need me to push you down a flight of stairs, I will make sure it looks like an accident, and then we'll figure something out in the end, and we'll all win, you know? I work off commission, if you can't tell. No, so I work for a personal injury law firm. I work for me and two male attorneys, so it's a very small shop, and we had a case possibility come in and involved a injured scrotum, so already funny. And me being me, like I couldn't help it. Like I had to say a lot of things. So I was like, well, the pair of you should be able to figure this out, unless you think it's like a scrotal loss, and you should say gonads. And then at this point, I could tell they were getting a little testy with me. This one that kicked me out of the room, and they said, we don't go away. And I was like, it's because of a woman, isn't it? They're like, no, you're not an attorney. We no longer need you to talk about this. So I was like, touche, guys. So it's a good time. My bosses like to describe me as a rock that gets wedged between two toes in your shoe. So it becomes a little bit more comfortable. And I say, thanks. So it's kind of the relationship we had. I wasn't always this successful in a career. Now it's hard to tell. Last job I had was at a grocery store because I had high self-esteem. And it was like, for a long time I couldn't talk about where I worked, but now I don't give a shit because they're a terrible company, and a lot of you Like I said, it's white crowd looking, so you probably shop at Whole Foods. There's awful. Whole Foods is the worst place on earth, and working there is even more terrible, because the awfulest people will shop there, and by that I mean people with food allergies. They are the worst. I can already see which one of your group of friends is that food allergy friend, because one person's like, oh, I don't like this joke, and everyone's like, oh my god, they're terrible, and they're sitting behind me. No one likes it when you show up for dinner, and I don't like talking to them when I worked at Whole Foods, because this is what would happen. Someone would come in and they would be like, I need something that's nut-free, peanut-free, soy-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, sugar-free, gluten-free, fat-free, joyless. And at the time when I was working there, like I couldn't, one time I just wanted to be like, maybe you should let nature take its course. But I couldn't, like, because I was working there and I had to keep it, I had to keep the job. So a lot of times it just like stared blankly and I was like, oh, I don't know, we have water. It's like free in your sink, or like really expensive in aisle 3, I'm not sure which one you want. We have Naive or Evian. And then on top of that, like you had food allergy people, and then you also have like trendy diets. Like anytime Oprah or Dr. Oz said something stupid, the next day they immediately wanted it. Oh, terrible, awful. That was the dumbest thing. They supported something called the Paleolithic diet. Yes, and I didn't know what it was at the time, so I Wikipedia'd it, and it said the gist of the diet is that you're not supposed to eat anything that wasn't around 10,000 years ago. You want to know what else wasn't around 10,000 years ago? Starters, grocery stores. Let's start there. And then everything else was not around. And I think it's a little, it would get me so frustrated because it's cheating to go to a grocery store to like get stuff that like caveman ate. Because it's like, if you're gonna have to do what is, nicknamed the caveman diet, like you should be able to go, you have to go full out. Like you should go and tackle your neighbor's dog, skin it, roast it over an open pit, and then eat it in front of your neighbor, because that's what cavemen did. They were terrible, animalistic people, and they just clubbed their wives, because that's how you got them. You just found a woman, you knocked her out, and you said, mine, and then you dragged her into a cave. That's how they worked. I think. I wasn't around then. I think that's how history taught me. But yeah, it was terrible, and one time this hipster came in, and I tight jeans, eyeliner, like dark hair, can't really tell what his gender is, and he comes up to me and goes, do you have any paleo-friendly bread? So I was like, yeah, it's some rocks outside. So that's what happened. Drove here tonight. I hate driving. It's a panic attack every time I get in the car. Mainly because I'm afraid of getting in an accident, because car insurances have not yet offered vehicular homicide forgiveness. It's not a thing. That is and it should be. Like, it should be. Like, there's a lot of things happening, especially if you drive to Cambridge. There's walking, there's baby strollers, there's bicyclists. Like, I know it's going to happen for me eventually. Like, mulligans need to be had. Like, I should be able to stand in front of a judge and have the judge look at me and say, where were you? Alston? Who did you run over? A white guy with dreads? You're forgiven.